and delighted to be here with all you beautiful people. And it's interesting, Pastor, as you were talking and said, well, what holiday do you have that's like Christmas? And I was thinking like, okay, what does Christmas have that's like my religion? So I was thinking it more the opposite, but that's okay. Because it's a really difficult question, and God is very merciful. And God gives us even more than second chances, many chances. So the Jewish calendar is like, imagine a train on a track in a circle going all year round, and you can hop up on the train at many stations. So given that, every week on Shabbat, in one of those stations you can hop on and have a family dinner in honor of the Shabbos, and many Jewish families do that. And then we have the three festivals, Passover, Sukkot, and Shavuot, and often you have festivities that involve the family in dinners. And then we have other holidays like Hanukkah that you know is coming up, and this one involves children a lot and activities, playing with the dreidel, lighting the menorah. A lot of our get-togethers involve children, because it's very important in the faith. As I said, loss of temple and persecution, it's very important to do things that allow your faith to carry on into the next generation. So these festivities often involve children. So you have Hanukkah is a big one for that. Passover might be the biggest one for that, where the children actually even participate in the Passover Seder and have special parts in what we call the Haggadah that's read there. And then Purim, that's very children-oriented, a very happy holiday where we celebrate that all the Jews didn't get killed in ancient Persia. And there's usually games and toys, because if it wasn't for that, there wouldn't probably be Christmas, right? So if the Jews got wiped out in Persia. So we have quite a few things like that. And so it's really important. I think it's now getting to the point where we're building bridges together here in community, where on some levels we can all appreciate and love how everybody is doing these celebrations and sharing it without losing your own belief system. So thank you so much, Pastor, for inviting me and everybody else. Here we go. Wonderful.
Thanks, Alan. Namaste, everyone. Namaste is just a greeting. We picked up hello from Hawaiian Islands, but Namaste says, I recognize your name. Nam, name. Name is a Sanskrit word, and it comes into Latin and our English language as name, right? So Namaste, I recognize you all and wish you all a very happy holiday season. My name is Indra Neelamegam. I, with my beloved spouse, Neil, have been with the Interfaith Roundtable for a long time. We belong to the Hindu community at large. And the reason I don't say a specific church or congregation is, in Hinduism, we don't have congregations. In fact, we don't even have to go to the temple, because our shrine is at our home. It may be an alcove in your kitchen, one of the cabinets, or if you are more wealthy, they may make up a big room full of it, or even that your people may have a little shrine room in their yard or garden. Given that, we belong to the greater Hindu community of Utah. We were part of the founding members of the Ganesha Hindu Temple, which is in South Jordan, and I welcome you all to come and visit that whenever you have a chance or when we have open houses. It's a very interesting experience. Takes you back to maybe India, maybe not the modern India, but the India of times when we got frozen there. Given that, Josie asked me to speak about the most important festivals or the celebrations that are akin to our Christmas celebrations in Utah. With that, let me pose a question. You are all of many different faiths, and very often my friends here ask me, Indra, do you celebrate Christmas? And I never know how to answer that. Yes, I do the Hallmark version of Christmas, wherein I put up tinsel and decorations and buy gifts. But that's not the religious Christmas, right? So like that, because Christmas is the celebration of Christ's birthday, I don't think my faith really celebrates his birthday as his birthday. But we do have Christmas celebrations. Our households even put up a Christmas tree because the kids love it, because they want to be participatory. At one point, we had thought of setting up a Hindu tree, which we call Kalpa Vriksha, or the tree of plenty during the 5 days of Christmas to get them involved in this idea of a tree and a Christmas and a holiday. Took off for some years, then dropped out because parents, like I said, Hinduism is very personal, family oriented, and we do our celebrations at home rather than at a congregational important place. We do go to the temple to celebrate with others. Given that, what's the biggest holiday? Our Hindu system follows a lunar solar calendar. It's called a lunisolar calendar because the months begin and end either with the new moon or the full moon. Remember, many thousands of years ago, we didn't have this artificial division of Sunday, Monday, Tuesday kind of thing. The moon was the one who was always there, and you knew when it grew and it faded. You could set up cycles. So that's why maybe some of the ancient religions, I know the Jewish calendar is lunar based and we follow that, and our Sikh friend will tell us that too. And of course the Muslims, for them looking at the moon is so important to break a fast or start a fast. And I think Zainab will talk about that too. Given that, so my holiday, which is the most celebrated, and I call it most hallmark version of Hindu celebrations, is Diwali. The original Diwali, in fact, the way Diwali has no religious connotation. It's just a celebration of light. Light overcomes darkness, brightness overcomes ignorance, and evil is overcome by bright light. So, asatoma satgamaya, that which is bringing brilliance, lead me from darkness to light, lead me from ignorance to knowledge. And Diwali is a celebration of light. Deep means light, which is usually in the old Indian context, oil with lamps. Avali is arrangement of lights in a row. We usually decorate the homes with these oil wick lamps, set at the gate, set at the porch, set outside the door, and it's usually decorated as beautifully as you can. Oil wick lamps are more and more being replaced with electric, what they call fairy lamps in England, or lights like we do here, because it's convenient and it's safer these days. In our temple, we used to do the oil wick lamps, and we would have kids running around with their scarves flying everywhere, and it was danger waiting to happen. So our board said, no, we'll just have the electric lamps. And you know, any change is not welcomed easily. The first time we did that, everybody was upset. Tradition, let it go. And tradition continues. I think the first time they did the oil wick lamp, somebody must have said, tradition, we used to have bonfires. So the tradition changes. It doesn't mean we are any less spiritual. Diwali is usually observed on the lunar new moon day. My community, which hails from deep south, we celebrate it actually the day before that day. Whatever reason, that's the day we exchange gifts, we meet with elders, we seek their blessings, visit friends, exchange food items, and then that's celebrated. Northern parts of India, the celebration is on the new moon day, and the evening of that day, bright lamps enliven the dark night, right? And also they welcome the goddess of prosperity, or the patron of prosperity, not only spiritual but wealth. Wealth is very important so that a family can live its life, enjoy the fruits of their hard work, and help the next generation go on with these traditions. So Goddess Lakshmi is worshipped. And some parts of northwestern India, they even celebrate it as a new year because it's a convenient day to mark. New Year is not that for everybody, nor is every Hindu celebrating Diwali the way we do it here in the country. Here, we have a big celebration at the Hindu temples. Most people gather there for food and meeting with friends and wearing new clothes, which is the most important thing. My childhood days, it is a tradition to go to grandma's house. It's like a Thanksgiving for us. That's the day when the tribe gathers around its ancestral home. So that was very, very important, and you'll find all trains and planes and other transportation overbooked because everybody is traveling home to grandma's place. That's Diwali. And Diwali is celebrated, like I said, with new clothes. So I remember, I'm quite old, and when I was very young, our family said 2 sets of clothes in a year. Not for your birthday, one for Diwali and the other one for your birthday, but one of those dresses has to be a school uniform. Because in India, it's not just the pricey schools, but every school had a uniform, and it was expensive to buy uniforms again and again. So I hated that idea. For my birthday, I just got a school uniform. But now there's so much cloth in the world, and we buy clothing even if it's not a birthday or a festival day. However, Diwali, you'll see clothing shops, sari shops overwhelmed. Where do the people have money to come and throng these shops to buy new clothing? And then Diwali, Lakshmi Puja Day is the day of celebration of wealth. Very often people will go buy at least a small silver coin, because when you buy that, it's believed you attract more wealth into your home. So it might be as simple as a small silver coin, and if you cannot afford silver, at least a spoon or a ladle or something. A new utensil is purchased so that you have prosperity throughout the year. That's the belief. So celebrate Diwali with everyone. Celebrate light, which brings us brilliance and overcomes ignorance. Happy Diwali, everyone.
Hello everyone. I want to mention about two festivals we celebrate during the year in Islam, which is Eid al-Adha and Eid al-Fitr. And Eid al-Fitr, we call it Ramadan and Festival of Breaking Fast. And Eid al-Adha, it's in Abrahamic religion traditions, we know Prophet Abraham was asked to sacrifice his son, and God sent Allah sent a provision of a ram as a substitute. So this is the tradition, and majority of Abrahamic religions believe the same story. This is the story we commemorate and we celebrate. And I want to focus on Ramadan a little bit more today, because Ramadan has a huge significance for us. It's a 30 day of fasting, where we refrain from drinking and eating food almost 30 days, and from sun up to sundown. So this is a holiest month of a year for us, because these 30 days are pretty much, we focus on reconnecting with God and understanding meaning of life, and we are temporary in this world. We strengthen our relationship with God also. Since we are fasting, we become more aware of what hunger means, what poverty means, because when you don't have food, then you become more, you start to understand what is hunger means, and we become more charitable. There are many different levels of Ramadan that teaches us become a better person in this life and become a better Muslim in the means of reconnecting with God. And celebrations are a big part of it, because when you don't eat almost 16 hours, you kind of want to celebrate in the evening with good food, right? So we are highly encouraged to share our food with our family, friends, neighbors, and people who are in need. And that's why we have almost every night is a feast for us. So either at our home, either at a community center, either at a mosque, either at a church. So we have Interfaith Ramadan dinners every year, and we go to community shelters and we serve food there, and we pretty much try to reach out everywhere to share a bit of this tradition with our neighbors and friends to make Ramadan more memorable for us. When it comes to children, they like to fast with us because they think it is very cool waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning and fasting with us, because kids don't like to eat at all, especially when it comes to healthy food. So they like to say, no, I am fasting, and you cannot force them eating broccoli, right, during the day. So They like to fast with us, but we try to cut their fasting in the middle of the day, and we tell them, hey, this is enough for you. You don't have to fast all day long. Some listen, some don't. So this is how it is. End of the Ramadan is very. We celebrate greatly because it's a big accomplishment. When you fast for 30 days long, it's a big accomplishment. It is not easy. And we decorate our homes like you do during Christmas, and we have big gatherings, and we have gifts for kids, and especially in Middle East, we like to give cash, so kids expect cash money from us, so they can get anything anything they want. So we have games, and we have the decorations, we have gifts, and younger families visit older families, and we are the oldest family in our community, so we get visitors all day long, all 3 days long, because celebration is 3 days. So we have visitors from our community, which is super fun, and we like it since we are far away from our homeland. This type of celebrations creates sense of community and belonging, and we still maintain our identity and celebrate with our friends, even though we are way far from our own families. So it's a great celebration, and every year our families and kids and community look forward to it. When it comes to Christmas, I don't know if you know, we also in Islam we have to believe in all Abrahamic prophets. So Jesus, Moses, Abraham, and all of them are our prophets too. So even though we don't celebrate the way you are, we still remember Christ's teachings and how he was non-violent, how he showed compassion, and how he showed his love toward other people. So those are the teachings we try to remember, and we share with our families and kids. And this is the way we approach Christmas, and we enjoy the time. And we don't have to deal with all the gift wrappings. we get to enjoy the most fun and I think important part of Christmas. And next Ramadan is approaching in February, and it's going to be February and March. If you wanna host or collaborate for a Ramadan iftar, you can approach me, and we can see what we can do together. Thank you.
Hello everyone. Firstly, I would like to thank Josie for inviting me for such a full-filled afternoon with all of you wonderful people. For those who might not know me, my name is J.B. Singh. I belong to Sikh community in Utah. And Josie invited me to this event today to celebrate Easter and Christmas. I was thrilled. You know, it is a wonderful how holidays and special days have so much meaning to us and bring us so much joy. Faith is such a wonderful and powerful feeling in our religion, Sikhism. We also have many such holidays and traditions which we follow. One of these are Vaisakhi. It is usually in the month of April. Together we celebrate the season of harvest. During this time, people rejoice for starting the harvest and crop season by dancing and festivities throughout Punjab, India, as well as any place where you can find the Sikh community. This day also has a significant importance as it is a day that our Sikhism, our religion, was founded by our 10th Guru, Guru Gobind Singh Ji. He created our distinct identify which you see and describe us by our long hair, which we keep in the turban and our beard. We adorn our wrist with the steel bracelet. We can be spotted from far away and we are always ready to help. This was exactly what our Guru had wanted from us, that we can be identified from miles away. If anyone ever need help of any kind, find a Sikh, they will help you no matter what. For us, faith and God has the utmost respect and priority in our lives. Just as Sikhs celebrate Vaisakhi as a day for celebration of remembering faith and religion, I am glad we are quite similar as us celebrating Easter and Christmas with the same. Once again, I would like to thank Yosi and everyone here for letting me be a part of such a beautiful celebration today. And I will let you know that Christmas, as Indra was saying, everyone was saying, so in my family, my kids here, they were born here, and we have big celebration every Christmas. My daughter, my other family come to my house, and we have big Christmas tree and celebrate like everything. And now, like this Christmas, we are meeting in Philadelphia with all the family and having the celebrating the Christmas. So thank you very much for everybody.
Good afternoon. I'm Father George Nikas from Holy Trinity Greek Orthodox Cathedral, downtown in Prophet Elias and Holiday. Josie was very kind to ask me to share with you some differences that we have within the Orthodox Church in the celebration of Christmas. So I'm kind of going on and understanding that you all know what Christmas is. I didn't understand maybe the assignment, but anyway. So the main difference in how Orthodox churches celebrate Christmas is the calendar that they use. There are two calendars, the Julian calendar and the Gregorian calendar. The Julian calendar, used by some Orthodox churches, including those mostly in Russia and other traditions, Christmas is celebrated on January 7th. The Julian calendar was implemented in 46 BC by Julius Caesar and has the name. The Gregorian calendar, including those of the Greek Orthodox tradition since 1923, some in the Ukrainian, Christmas is celebrated on December 25th, along with the Western Christianity. The Gregorian calendar was introduced in 1582 by Pope Gregory VIII. The Julian calendar is 13 days behind the Gregorian calendar, hence the difference, because it gradually drifts out of alignment with the solar year. The Julian calendar adds an extra day, February 29, every 4 years, which makes the year on average 365.25 days long. This is a 0.0078 days longer than a solar year, so the calendar drifts backwards by 7.8 days per 1,000 years. As a result, Orthodox Christmas will eventually fall on January 8th by the year 2100, within a lot of year around. While most Orthodox churches use the Julian calendar, some have adopted the Gregorian calendar, as I said, the Greek Orthodox. Others in Europe, also Ukraine, some in Ukraine, Serbia, Montenegro, some in Russia, Belarus, Bosnia, Herzegovina, African countries such as Egypt and Ethiopia, meaning the Coptic Orthodox. So, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. All of those celebrate Christmas on January the 7th. So basically it's a 13-day difference. The one holiday that is the same is the celebration of Easter, of Pascha. All of the Orthodox churches use the original Julian calendar for that. So within the Orthodox churches, just so you know, we begin what we call the Advent or Nativity season on November 15th, 40 days before December 25th, Christmas, which is called the Nativity Fast. Ideally, the church rules are no meat for those 40 days. It's not quite as strict as the Lenten fast before Easter, so you are allowed to have dairy, oil, and wine. And obviously many people either choose to follow the rules or they choose not to. By decree, years ago, the former Archbishop decreed that on Thanksgiving Day, because it's also an American holiday, and because of the importance of it, that people were allowed to break the fast on November, whatever Thanksgiving Day falls upon. But of course, in many homes, that becomes a weekend event because you have Friday leftovers going in through Sunday. So we take advantage when we can. Obviously, and I'm sure I speak on behalf of all who are Christian, we celebrate the birth of Christ on December 25th. On January 6th, the Orthodox churches that follow the Gregorian calendar celebrate Epiphany, or Theophany, or the Feast of Lights. And that basically celebrates the baptism of Christ, in which the Holy Trinity was made manifest, with the three persons of the Trinity, the Father, in the voice that was heard from above, that said, "This is my beloved Son, whom I am well pleased." The second person of the Trinity, Jesus Christ himself in person, and the third person of the Trinity, the Holy Spirit, in the form of a dove that hovered above the Jordan River when Christ was baptized. The birth of Christ is celebrated as, I would argue, probably the second largest feast day of the Orthodox Church, the first being Pascha, his crucifixion, resurrection, because although Christ's birth was unique according to our theology, it was the only immaculate conception that took place. Nevertheless, without the crucifixion and the subsequent resurrection, there's no Christianity. It would not have been enough for Christ simply to be born, for us to have what we would call the Christian churches. The Christian churches exist because of his resurrection and his promise of eternal life to those who believe in his name. But nevertheless, as you can imagine, and certainly here in the United States, but even throughout the Balkan countries, wherever Christmas is celebrated, one would argue that all Orthodox Christians celebrate December 25th. The argument is if the argument exists, if December 25th actually falls on December 25th. Well, I would say we all celebrate the birthday of Christ, the nativity of Christ. We just may differ with the dates. It's a small argument, unfortunately, that still exists today, but nevertheless. But it is a time of joy. Obviously, the fast that takes place is so that we can prepare our hearts to welcome year after year the newborn King, our Savior, as the world received him. And so it is a beautiful time of the year. During the Epiphany season, so we celebrate the whole 12 days. There's no fasting between Christmas and Epiphany, except the day right before January 5th is a strict fast day, because usually we drink the waters on Epiphany as a blessing, and then the businesses or homes that invite us to go and bless their homes or businesses on Epiphany. That's pretty much all I would got. Is that what you wanted?
Well, thank you, everyone. That was very enlightening. I want to say a little bit about or I want to have a conversation here a little bit. So, even Western Christianity obviously has been influenced by a lot of different things. In fact, even early on in early church history, December 25th was kind of arbitrarily picked as the day to celebrate Jesus' birth, to coincide with other holidays. I mean, kind of appropriating other holidays and Christianizing them so that people could, we're celebrating, the solstice, now let's celebrate Jesus, right? It was kind of so a lot of things have influenced the way we celebrate Christmas, even within particularly Western Christianity. And here in the United States and in the Western world, it's very little of it actually has to do with the religious aspects of, like the tree, which came from Germany. That has nothing to do I know people try to make a symbolism happen there, but that has nothing to do with Jesus, I gotta say. And yet here it is in the church. Santa Claus, don't get me started on Santa Claus. Santa Claus has nothing to do with Jesus. Right? But this is a second, so I mean, Christmas has really become, an American holiday, and certainly in Europe and other places, it's become a very secular holiday that has very much influenced the way churches celebrate things, and I will say the common thing I heard around here was children and food. It seems to be a common element in all celebrations, which I think is wonderful. But I was curious about this, the way, again, like my frustrations with how Santa Claus has kind of taken over Christmas. I wonder how has the Americanized secular version. I mean, Christmas is so pervasive as a cultural. I mean, it's an American cultural holiday more than anything. And I wonder. And you guys talked about putting trees in your house and you said because our kids wanted to be a part of what's going on. So I'm curious about how that huge influence here in America has affected how you function in your faith tradition. Anyone want to? I'll just open it up. Does anyone want to speak to that a little bit? No. How?
We live in a foreign country, and where osmosis from your neighborhood is not that easily possible. But the osmosis that happens is whatever our neighbors do. When I was telling someone, we are so lucky and blessed to be in Utah. For one, the value system is very similar to the serve beer in your parties. No. And if there are children, we make it a point, we do not serve any alcohol. The elders, if they want to do that, they do a different party. Because we want to teach values to children. Given that, gem, so our celebrations take the good from everywhere. Well, hanging wreaths, putting colored lights is very much Hindu, right? We do colors a lot. We love to light up everything. And so I was telling someone, our festival season actually starts a little before Thanksgiving, during the 9-day festival of the Mother Goddess, which is Navaratri. Some of you have seen it in my home, others I'll invite when I do it next. We celebrate 9 days with dressing up, visiting family, exchanging cooked food with each other, and more importantly, celebration of the arts. Classical music, classical dance, the children learn, they present what they have learned. So that is a celebration of learning. That day starts all the colored lights in our homes, and it lasts till after New Year, till our January 15th, which is like our Thanksgiving here. January 15th usually falls 14th or 15th, is the celebration of the harvest. I don't think we harvest anything around that day here, but tradition follows the harvest festival of January. So our holidays extend, and so we never give up anything. So we took the tree, okay, let's do the tree. We make cookies and bake, yeah, we will do that. My nieces who live in Boston, 1 year she learned baking, so she wanted to do everything. July 4th we had a cake with icing like the flag, and Diwali she did a lamp on top of the cake. So incorporate the local culture, and I think that's the strength of Hinduism. We survived so many invasions, so many changes, Buddhism, Jainism, Muslim faith. Sikh didn't change Hinduism, it became part of Hinduism faith again. So all these things gave the good in them to Hinduism, and Hinduism survived. And that's what I believe, the American tradition of Hinduism survives. A couple of years ago, the NASDAQ gave a holiday on Diwali. Many school districts in many states choose to celebrate Diwali with at least the kids making clay lamps and lighting something and having a traditional Indian food. This is a good trend. And I believe Times Square is lit up, that sign which is a great symbol of American culture, with Diwali greetings. And I know the governor's office here invites us for Diwali. Community goes and celebrates there. I believe the White House, the tradition was there. We don't know how it will change next year. You have a Diwali celebration in the White House. So we adopt our adopted country, and the adopted country is also including us, and that's how I feel.
Thank you, Andrew. Thank you, Pastor Curtis. You know, I'm going to get a little heavy here. I think you brought up a really important point, and I've learned a lot from being in this interfaith group. Don't judge another religion by what you think or what you've been taught. Include a major part of that, what it is to meet other people and what they have to say about their faith. And try to avoid what the culture or the media says about the faith. And it's actually gotten to the point where the media and the culture is so strong that even people in our own faith start learning the faith through the culture and what the media says about it, rather than what the faith actually has to say about it. And before you know it, the faith itself sort of gets hijacked by the culture. And I think that's really came to a head this week. It's something that I think is pretty heavy and a real major concern that I have. And that is there are a lot of people on social media celebrating a person who is alleged to have murdered somebody in order to advance a cause. And so let's look at history. Let's look at Christianity and Christmas. You're celebrating a birth of a person who is called the Prince of Peace. Who did this Prince of Peace murder to get 1.5 billion followers around the world and implement so much change in society for thousands of years? No one. No one. So I refuse to accept the idea that you have to use violence or murder somebody in order to effect change. History proves the opposite. You can restrain from violence and effect incredible change. Recently we saw that with Reverend Martin Luther King. I think we have an important duty now, both individually in our faiths and together, to fight, or an ironic word to use, against this glorification of violence that we're seeing in the media and the culture, and now with the powerful tool of social media and all these likes, which I'm beginning to think is, in a sense, for lack of a better term, almost evil. Okay? And this is overtaking us. Let's fight it. Let's promote peace and the love, not just tolerance, but loving each other. And this is the essence of our faith. The problem in the world, unlike what society is teaching and media is teaching, the problem is not the religions. The problem is not the religions. The problem is that many people of the various religions don't follow the basic tenets of their own religion. The problem is not the religion. So I'm being rather strong about it. I'm heartfelt this week because it really came to a head. So I love you all. Thank you for letting me speak. I don't know if somebody else wants to add.
That was heavy. But I'm going to lighten it up a little bit. Answer me this. I have this question. Hanukkah became a much bigger deal in America because of, like, did Christmas influence how Hanukkah is so because they're close to one another?
Yeah, briefly. I think it did get accented because of Christmas. However, as I said, the Jewish calendar is like the train going around. You can hop on at different times. Hanukkah is 8 days. Sukkot, really, when you add, is virtually 8 days. And it's believed that Hanukkah was another way to celebrate Sukkot when the Maccabees couldn't do it. Okay, so it is a very important holiday in the Jewish faith. There's special prayers and things we do on Hanukkah that we say because of it that have nothing to do with Christianity. So it is, I hear this in the media, once again, we learn from the media, because the media often says it. And even some rabbis I've seen on the media say, oh, Hanukkah is bigger because of Christmas. It's actually not really the case. But thank you for asking.
Anyone else have anything you want to say? Yes, thank you. Anyone else that want to say anything about how Western secularized Christianity is affected Christmas?
I can say a few words. Of course, being a minority and living in a Christian-dominated society affects our families too, because our family, our kids are exposed heavily to Christmas culture, which is great. Sometimes it takes more time to explain this to our kids that there are different faiths all over the world, different traditions, different celebrations, and different way of practicing religions. So we are more mindful of explaining all these differences and similarities to our kids, so they don't feel isolated or excluded in their schools or their work. Sometimes to accommodate, we get to enjoy all the lighting. We do neighborhood tour, and we create small Christmas gifts for our neighbors, because religion is all about sharing, right? And as we invite people from for our Ramadan programs, we also want to celebrate their Christmas with them. So we create small gifts and we gift our neighbors. We send those gifts to school. So to share that we celebrate their religion with them, and we highly appreciate and value for their belief system. So this is the thing we want to teach our families and our kids. And some families even, like Indra said, they put a Christmas tree and they decorate their homes, because however they feel comfortable, they practice, they approach differently. But like I said, we need to work a little more to accommodate and educate our kids about our commonalities and differences.
Well, we're running out of time. Let's thank everyone up here for sharing. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Please go ahead and make your way down here of the socks and the gloves and everything. Thank you so much for that. Those contributions are going to go to Crossroads Urban. A lot of the holidays that were talked about all listed here. There's an interfaith calendar that puts all of the major holidays on the calendar. Did you want to say something about it? Did you want to say anything?
No, not really.
Okay. So come and see here. How much are they?
$12. The $12. They are absolutely glorious this year. And not only does it give the listings of all the different faiths and their celebrations each month,